For the past couple of months, I have had a few comments on my YouTube channel that I pretty much have to address right here and right now. One of those comments has been, man, this guy is really loud, and why is he always screaming? Don't worry, we'll get to that one in just a second. And the second comment that I've had recently as well is, wow, look at that guy's neck. Those veins are massive, and why are they always bulging? This is insane. I can't stop looking at it. Well, number one, about the neck thing and the veins, I'm an incredibly vascular man. If you know, you know. And to go back to the earlier comment about my volume of voice, I'm Hispanic, and that pretty much means I'm basically just this volume all the time at any occasion. This is me whispering. Yeah, it's kind of wild. But the biggest reason why I'm actually upset and screaming all the time and why my neck veins seem to be looking this way isn't because of anything in particular or even where I'm from. The reason why all this is happening is because I'm watching the same gaming industry that I love for the last 40 plus years basically disintegrate right in front of me as multiple companies are going around and removing actual ownership from you, a literal customer, trying to charge you more money for getting less product. And then at the same time, watching every CEO and every gaming pundit and analyst sit here and defend and try to educate the actual customers about why things are happening, even though we are watching and witnessing as many types of actual physical media are making a resurgence and a comeback. CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, even vinyl is making a resurgence as well. Yet for some reason, gaming is the only hobby right now that is required to give the actual customer literally nothing, but yet charge them more money than ever before. So yeah, that should explain it right here and right now. The difference is, though, it's literally not going to end. And what I saw yesterday actually shocked me to the core. It's not about the fact of what PlayStation is doing in 2028. It's not about the fact that other companies in the gaming space are also going to follow suit as well. What truly has me upset in today's video is the fact that I'm watching and witnessing and seeing actual CEOs of game companies like Square Enix, for example, where they had a financial CEO literally go around and tell everybody online that once PlayStation goes all digital, you're going to see lower prices. I kid you not. I swear to God, I kid you not. I know you're laughing out loud right now and you're like throwing your head back in actual insanity that somebody literally said this, but trust me, later on in the video, when you hear this part, it's going to floor you. But the other problem that I have as well isn't just with CEOs of companies. It's the fact that we are also witnessing and watching game journos, game industry experts, and analysts go around and try to educate you as a customer about Sony's margins, about why it makes business sense. Even though you have no stake in the business, you don't care about their business, and all you want is a cheaper product that is actually better for you and provides the entertainment you in fact paid for. Oh, also a little bit of ownership as well. That'd be kind of nice, wouldn't you say? And this is where the entire thing sort of collapses upon itself. Watching this gaming industry completely fold over consistently, trying to basically just put its head inside of its own and then tell you everything is fine has to be the most insane thing we've honestly ever seen in this space. But the real problem isn't just about the actual lack of ownership or the fact that CEOs are saying these kinds of things. It's the fact that even government entities and government employees who are in positions to go through and provide customer ownership are saying that your actual rights are made to be violated. No, I'm not kidding. Because according to Games Radar Plus, Stop Killing Games might never win, according to expert, saying consumer rights exist to be violated. All right, let's just stop right here. When I read this headline, the first thing I thought was, okay, this has to be taken out of context. There's no way anybody would literally say those words out of their own mouth after everything that I've been chronicling inside of this actual YouTube channel about customer advocacy. And I think the more wild part about this is the fact that this interview happened with the game business. You know, Christopher Dring, the same guy who wants to educate people about why Sony's margins are the way they are and why you should be educated as a consumer into being okay with this decision about Sony removing physical media, causing every other game company as well to do the exact same thing, because it literally is just all monkey see, monkey do in this space. Let's be real. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. But it's also the fact that these kinds of conversations are going completely against things like Stop Killing Games, where SKG has been at the forefront of making sure that you actually own your games, period, whether they're digital or even physical, asking developers and publishers to give you an offline mode or a refund if the game actually goes offline and they can't do that in the first place. Some way of actually giving customers something back when these companies, these publishers, will do everything to take from you in the first place, yet give you nothing in return. But let's see what the article had to say and go from there. With the article from GamesRadar Plus saying, the Stop Killing Games movement, inspired by Ubisoft's shruggy shutdown of the 2014 Racer The Crew, has hit a few potholes since its 2024 inception, including a bunch of European publishers' loud opposition towards it, and the EU itself ruling against its plea for better consumer protections against live service game death. There's that word again, consumer. Interesting. Proponents should also prepare for their humble campaign to take a full-on trip off a cliff, suggests Flux Digital Policy video games policy expert Dr. Celia Ponton, since what it wants might be a legal impossibility. So I decided to go ahead and do a little bit of research. Apparently, Flux Digital Policy is a consultancy firm for the gaming industry in the UK. In fact, their About page says this: what we do. Tech regulation is undergoing big changes, which means that game companies need to up their engagement with live policy issues, whether that means getting involved for the first time or building an existing strategy. We're here to help. The sheer variety of business models and services in the video game industry means that it's really important for all voices to be heard, from the biggest to the smallest, from mobile to console and desktop. Regardless of your size, reach, or platform, Flux can help you understand what changes are happening, how the process works, and what it all means for your business in practice. We can work with you to respond to consultations, engage with policymakers, and look at what else might be coming down the track. If you haven't caught on by now, this consultancy firm is not on your side as a customer. They are on the side of publishers and developers trying to understand what policies are going to be pushed in the EU or the UK in order to go ahead and have actual strategies to get around those actual policies themselves. Literally, that's exactly what they do. It's on their About page. They just said it themselves. They're going to help guide you through this process. They're going to make sure you have a strategy for any sort of issues that come up on their way legally. And it's exactly what Stop Killing Games is trying to do right now. They're trying to make sure you have ownership through legal means. And the thing is, this company and this consultancy firm is doing everything they can to make sure it doesn't happen. But let's keep going in the article and see what Dr. Ponton had to say. Ponton posits during a recent interview with The Game Business, saying, quote, "Are consumer rights being violated? Well, they already exist to be violated." She says things like terms of service already provide a framework for how publishers and consumers, there's that word again, should respond to scenarios of sudden live service death. And it's unlikely that Stop Killing Game campaigners will be able to squeeze anything else out of the many legal, technological, and video game industry standards working against them. Okay, usually I'll do like a couple of paragraphs and then I'll give my point about what's going on, but consumer rights exist to be violated? I'm sorry. Are we just saying the quiet part out loud? Oh, he's yelling again. Oh, he's loud again. His neck veins are bulging again. Now do you understand why? The terms of service that you agree to when you start up a game, it's not there for you to make sure that you own the game. No, it's not for your protection. It's for the protection of the publisher and the developer to do whatever they want with that game at any time they want. It is literally violating all of your consumer rights. Dr. Ponton is actually admitting right now exactly why Stop Killing Games is so incredibly important in this space. Brother, what are we even doing right now? But there's more. I kid you not, there's actually more. With Dr. Ponton saying, quote, "I understand people's passions behind it," Ponton says about Stop Killing Games, and that they want to continue playing a game that they have particularly loved or enjoyed and invested time in. And I can see exactly why that is important to an awful lot of people. But it takes more than conviction to overturn the many reasons IP holders are allowed to end access to a game you paid for, but they really own. Ponton describes a, quote, mismatch between what the public might be calling for and what is possible, not necessarily just technologically, although there are some barriers there, but also when it comes to how existing legislation actually works. She assures that video game policymakers are, quote, seriously and I think fairly intensely discussing stop killing games demands, but Ponton also emphasizes how legally complicated achieving them would be. Okay, she just admitted and told you you don't own your video games. She just told you that. You don't own anything, not even the license to play the game. She just said the publisher and developer owns the game even after you've made the purchase. So my question is this: why do I have to make the purchase if I don't own the game? If these publishers and developers get 100% ownership of my money that they're dying to get into their grubby little hands, then I should have 100% ownership of the game that I purchased from them as well. They don't get to come into my house, into my domain, and take away what I bought with my money working my damn wage cage for them to go through and be like, you know what? You don't own this. We do. Even though we also own the money you gave us now, that's still not your thing. That's not how this works. And that's exactly what every gaming company is dying to do: remove ownership and access from you as a literal customer. And the crazier part is, it's not just people like Dr. Ponton and the Flux Policy, whatever the hell they want to call themselves, going around and literally being an actual narc for the gaming industry. Why do you think people like Steam so much? Because they know exactly what's going on in that background. They know, hey, this is a license, but at the same time, there are tons of games on Steam that don't have any DRM, even if you buy them. There's also games on Steam that use Valve's own DRM, which is honestly incredibly easy to get through if you want to ask me. And the fact that Valve understands why piracy is even rampant in the first place truly shows that they're putting the actual customer first. Then you have companies like GOG or Good Old Games that makes the actual deals with publishers to have those games be DRM free. But ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you it's not over yet, you need to have a seat. You need to sit down for this one, because when you hear what a CEO of Square Enix actually said about what PlayStation is doing and what he thinks is going to happen, honey, you are not ready for this. Because also, according to Games Radar Plus saying, Sony killing PlayStation discs will make the PS Store cheaper, former Square Enix financial exec says. With the article saying, on Twitter, Jacob Navak, director of business development at Square Enix from 2010 to 2015, commented on the nature of video game pricing, saying, quote, competition between publishers is what drives pricing pressure, not competition between digital stores, he says. This is because publishers set pricing on digital stores. Okay, I had to stop with the article and go to Jacob's tweet because clearly there's no way this dude with 100% certainty said something that's stupid on the internet. Let's go ahead and see what he actually said, shall we? Here's Jacob Novak on Twitter, quoting Does It Play. For some reason, I can't see the post, but you can see the post from Does It Play later on if you click into it, I promise. Here's what Jacob had to say. Digital on the PS5 store will likely get cheaper. I explained this several times. Current prices are tied to retail. Without physical discs holding digital hostage, we'll see a larger spectrum of pricing similar to Steam. And if you want to know what people thought about this tweet, well, that ratio is not looking good at all for you, Jacob. Damn, not good. With Noir on Twitter ratioing Jacob Novak and saying, I cannot think of a more take. Good job, man. You broke some kind of record with this one. With No Care Here also replying, you can't honestly believe that. GTA 6's price alone while being digital only proves that won't remotely be the case. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be very honest with you guys directly right now. If you're ever in your life thinking to yourself that you're not going to make it, that things aren't working out, I want you to recognize this moment right here. And this guy became the CEO of finances for Square Enix. You could do anything in life, boys. You could do whatever you want as long as you put your mind to it. If this clown can make it, you can too. And clearly he has no idea why even any of this is actually happening. The problem with PlayStation's own store in their pricing is not about digital or physical holding back digital pricing or having a floor. The problem with PlayStation on its own is that in 2019, they stopped allowing other storefronts to carry codes for digital games. They stopped GameStop from selling digital game codes as well to not have a split share between GameStop and Sony, even though they could sell those codes at a cheaper price. Sony is actually going around and creating a literal monopoly in their own platform out of 100 million users that at some point PlayStation is going to say, hey, you know what? That's enough price gouging to the customers. Let's lower the prices now and have better sales. The same PlayStation that said, oh, we're going to do variable rate pricing. That same PlayStation, they're going to give you lower prices. In fact, Jacob doesn't just double down. He goes for the gusto in his next tweet, with Jacob also saying competition between publishers is what drives pricing pressure, not competition between digital stores. This is because publishers set pricing on digital stores. Competition between stores like EGS and Steam improves the take rates for developers, not necessarily for the players. Here is the price floor of Final Fantasy XVI on Steam over time. You can see how the floor moves downward. It moves downward because as the title competes with other titles, it gains a natural downward pressure. The more PlayStation Store becomes digital only, the greater this trend will accelerate. You will see more sales and dynamic pricing similar to Steam because publishers will compete among themselves to a greater extent. You can read more about publishers setting pricing directly from this former PlayStation executive here. And Rurikon on Twitter also quote tweeted Jacob saying this: literally everything we've seen from the market historically proves this to be false. This level of gaslighting should be downright illegal. And here's the problem with Jacob's own sentiment, him saying that publishers are the ones that set the prices. Sure, but the real problem is this. At the end of the day, Sony is the company that has complete control over the pricing of those games in their own digital storefront. They're the ones enacting variable rate pricing on their own customers. So the publisher can say, oh, we want to charge $5.99, and Sony can say, you know what, this customer, their pain tolerance threshold of payment is actually $8.99. They can afford the $8.99. We'll take in the extra cash, they'll pay more, and the publisher still gets their cut for what they wanted to charge the game for in the first place. Ta-da! It's a system that screws over every customer. A literal monopoly, a price gouging monopoly. And we're watching in real time as an ex-CEO of Square Enix and literal insiders of the video game space are actually colluding against you to make sure you have no ownership and you pay more for video games every single time. And watching CEOs, analysts, game journals, and everybody else gaslight you, educate you, and try to coach you on why their margins are more important than the actual money in your bank account that they want to have access to 24/7, 365, and then go around and take the game away from you and give you nothing in return. Man. And then to make matters worse, yesterday's video about the RAM crisis and Nvidia and AMD also increasing the pricing of their GPUs too. Brother, we are cooked. We are absolutely unequivocally cooked across the entire space. Bro. Wow. I'll tell you this right now. I hope SKG wins. I really do. I hope SKG mops the floor and gets everything they've ever asked for inside of their policies. So publishers have to give you refunds. They have to have offline modes. And I truly hope that next generation for the PS6 PlayStation gets exactly what they deserve. Because personally, it's been a long time coming. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comment section down below. Do you actually believe that digital games and PlayStation going all digital will make games cheaper like Jacob says? Or do you think he's just lying just to defend the actual industry and corporations? And do you also believe that SKG can win? And do you think actual industry insiders like the ones we talked about today even know what they're actually talking about? I want to hear what you guys got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With good old Fearless Flaw saying this: they say the industry is evolving, but it seems like we're just paying the premium prices to watch our hobby slowly turn into a subscription-based waiting room for the next microtransaction. Fear, as always, my boy, you are in fact the absolute man, and that is absolutely perfectly worded, more than anything I could have ever said in this video. And once again, it just goes to show that my community is literally a bunch of demons, and I love you all for it. But as always, if you guys want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during those streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't got $1 though, bro, don't even sweat it. Just come on down to the live stream Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. Trust me, it's a hell of a show. You don't want to miss it. Everybody is honestly amazing. Live Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel. Do you want even more of me though? Check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. Link to that channel is in the description down below. New videos go up every single Monday on that channel as well, and I live stream every single weekday there as well. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. Today, we're playing the Gears of War open beta. Come on down, hang out as we're doing community game days, playing Horde and even Versus, as the chat also calls me DSP, makes fun about how bad I am at video games, and also insults me with TTS as well. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Don't forget to check it out every single day, and the link to that channel is in the description down below. With all that being said though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!